You so did this on purpose. Oh, that was such a long time ago. That was 4 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. Now tell us about this time in this.
Hey guys, my name is Cris Njoki. I am a fashion designer, entrepreneur, and a content creator. For the content that I produce, I think I'd say is more lifestyle. I'm trying to get into maybe more luxe lifestyle, but it's mostly lifestyle. That's travel, wellness, you know, fashion, food, just basically what I would do in my daily life. I also run a very, very exclusive and fantastic fashion brand called IKOJN. Women's wear based in Nairobi. Everything is made, designed, and created in Nairobi. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's me. Well, I know not many people like the term influencer, but to me, I think an influencer is somebody who literally influences people, you know, and so depending on the content you put out, depending on what you're telling your audience, you could be an influencer by influencing people's decisions. And that's how you get a lot of other brands coming to try and work with you, because the brands understand that you influence your audience's decisions. So that's what I think an influencer does. Good content creation needs creativity, for sure. So you can definitely make things work even with no money or with very little money. So you don't necessarily have to have money to have good content. When you're starting out, most of the times you want to wait for the brands to approach you, which now I'm learning, you know, maybe not to just sit, you know, be a sitting duck waiting for the brands, but that's something I've definitely come to learn later. Right, okay, so I think the one thing I've really learned from, you know, even just working with different brands and them expecting you to create content is always be true to yourself. So even with the brands, when you have the brands that approach you, don't just take a brand just because it's money or because it's, you know, it's an international brand or for notoriety. Be sure to always be true to yourself, because that's what your audience really wants to see. That's why they like you. That's why they follow you. That's why you influence them, because you're true. So the minute you get into a brand and you lose yourself, you definitely also lose your audience. Okay, so that was actually a really long time ago. That was, I think, 4 years ago. I was still a very new and upcoming designer. And I think Belgium had formed sort of like a partnership for new and upcoming designers, where you come together, come up with a concept for a collection, and they were really just looking to fund African designers, new and upcoming African designers, and I was so privileged to be part of the team. And so that was the very first showing we had, and I was actually wearing a jacket that I'd made myself, so I was just really excited, and I hope it shows in my face. I was just very, very excited. For me personally, social media and the digital space has really impacted my business and my brand in a very positive way. Even as a small brand starting out, both for my personal brand and for my fashion brand, social media also acted as a free way to market, you know, oneself and your products and all that. I don't think I'd be where I am right now if social media did not exist. So I'm very grateful for social media, and I had to learn very quickly how to maximize the use of, you know, social media to positively impact my business. So I'm very grateful that it's something that's there. And for me, I don't have any negative things to say about it just yet. But yeah, I would just hope that it continues being positive. Wow, I think this goes back to what I was saying before about being authentic. You know, for me, if I'm getting paid by a brand to review a product, I'm going to be very real about it. And I'll ask the brand before. I'll say, okay, fine, so you're paying me for this. If I don't like it, or if I find maybe the product is not for me, are you comfortable with me giving my honest review even if it's negative? So I think once you're able to have a very honest conversation with the brand that you're working with, then it just fixes all of the issues that could come up later. But yes, to answer the question, if it was a paid partnership and my review was, say, a bad review, I'd still be honest about it. It didn't just happen once and then I got myself out of it. I think it's something that happens constantly. And I think what helps me is knowing what it is, so that even when it comes or when it shows up or when I have that feeling, I already know what it is. So I try and get myself out just because I know, okay, that's it, you know? Like, if you know a guy's a thief and he's coming towards you, you're gonna run away. So now that I know it's imposter syndrome and what that means, I know what it is when it arrives. Ways I get myself out of it, I think I just do things that I really enjoy to do. For me, that could be, you know, watching shows that are very fashion-oriented, or just hanging out with friends, having a drink, you know, having some meals. Also, travel helps me a lot. So every time I feel, because the thing with imposter syndrome is it makes you feel like you're in a space, but you don't belong there. So once I start doing things that are creative and that I really enjoy, then it just takes me out of that rut and I'm back to where I used to be. Take records. Make sure you're always taking records of what you spend, what your expenses, things like that. Make sure you have somebody, even if you're not the one doing the accounting, you know, outsource someone who can just do your accounting on the low, on the cheap. But I think taking accounts and making sure you have all your records straight, it's really able to show you very early on if you're making profits or if you're making losses. I think financial literacy is one of the key determinants of whether you become, you know, rich or successful money-wise. If you don't have, even if you're making in so much, like $1 million a day, and you don't have financial literacy, that money is gonna go away someday, you know? So I think it's something that many parents, and even schools, I feel like it should be a subject in school. Just the way you have like chemistry or biology, you should have a class just called money, you know? Just to teach people how to like plan their money and to make good financial decisions. I think my advice to upcoming content creators is, number one, being creative is all you need, you know? So don't stress too much about, oh, okay, I don't have the fanciest clothes, I don't have the fanciest locations, maybe I don't live in the fanciest house. Try and see where you are and what you have, how it can boost you in your content by being creative about it. Also, another thing is, if you can find a niche, find it now and just focus on that niche. Sometimes you find, yes, in some things it's good to do many things because it diversifies you, but sometimes in content, if you find a niche, maybe it's the way you say things, maybe it's the way you shoot your things, maybe it's the way you portray yourself on camera, whatever it is, find a niche and stick to it, because that's how people will know you every single time they go online. The other thing I'd say is, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Sometimes with social media, just remember, everyone on social media is always showing their best part. They're always showing the good things. So don't put too much pressure on yourself if you see other people are doing something and you're not. They're only showing you the good stuff. No one is showing the bad stuff on social. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Yes, and I hope I helped anybody out there, any content creator. I hope I really helped you with some of the answers.